This table has been through the ringer. It started out looking like this. Then we painted it to test out some paint. Then months later, I used it to compare some sanders to each other, and then it was left like this. So I finished sanding down the top to bare wood, and I sanded the rest with some fine grit foam to smooth out the brush marks from the old paint job. Then I stained the top with some water-based special walnut stain. I let the stain dry for a few hours and then taped around the top so I wouldn't get any paint on it. I picked out this really cute pink from Rustoleum Chalk Paint called Blush Pink. Have you ever used this paint? Since this is a lighter color and some of the table was sanded to bare wood, I couldn't find any excuse to skip the priming step. So we took it outside and sprayed a couple of light coats of clear shellac onto the table. We let the shellac dry overnight and actually for at least a week before we got back to this project. The instructions on the can of paint say that you can thin the paint with up to 2 ounces of water for a quart of paint. So I did the math for how much paint I was mixing into my sprayer, and honestly, it was not as much as I typically would thin the paint out. The first coat didn't look terrible. The paint leveled out pretty well, so I continued. The second coat, though, was pretty bad. There was so much texture, but I kind of think that might have been a user error as well. And then when the paint was dry, on one side of the table, there were bleed-through stains popping through the paint. I also spotted a scratch in the drawer that needed filled in, so I filled that in and then I sanded the table all smooth. I cleaned up the dust and then we sprayed 2 more coats of clear shellac onto the table. And again, we let it dry overnight before painting it. Then I thinned out the paint even more and sprayed it again. Since I didn't clean my sprayer when I thinned out the paint, it was hard to adjust the settings just right, so I ended up spraying too much in a couple of spots. I caught up before the paint had dried completely, so I used a damp rag to wipe off the excess paint down to the layer of shellac. I finally, though, on the last coat, got everything right. Then I sprayed the table with 3 coats of water-based polyurethane in a semi-gloss sheen. Last but not least, I put the original hardware back on the drawer, and here is what it looks like now. It turned out so cute. Cuter than I was anticipating, actually. I love the new look. What do you think of the new look? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons to see more of our videos. Are you confused and not sure where to start with your furniture makeover? Don't worry, I got your back. Click the link in my comment to download our free painting checklist so you can paint your furniture as if you hired a professional to do it.